So it used to be like a known thing that I used to go to jail a lot when I was, signed to Rockefeller, whatever, right? But people never knew the circumstances of why I went to jail. They just thought I was going to jail, right? So for instance, one time, they locked me up for murder because I had a manager named Jimmy Desaint. He got locked up with a brick in his crib, and he was just throwing people under the bus, just getting people locked up. And when his neighbors had got shot, and his cousin died, so he found that out, their story out, and he said, "Yo, I know who did it." Telling the guy who survived the shooting, "I know who did it," and he said, "I did it," right? He's showing this guy videotapes of me and all this stuff. Mind you, the whole time he's around me, sometime, I mean, I'm not knowing he's doing this to me, and he's taking pictures of me and all this stuff, right? And it worked. They locked me up for murder, trying to give me the death penalty. So the whole time I didn't know he did it, nothing to do with it. I'm like, wow, these guys saying I did. I don't even know these guys, right? So when I ended up going to court, I was in jail for it. They tried to give me the death penalty. While I'm in jail for it, while I'm in jail, I go to the preliminary hearing. It took me like a year to go to preliminary hearing. I go to the preliminary hearing, and the guy who said I did it, I'm looking at him like, I don't know you, bro. He's like, yo, he's too tall. He's too tall. I don't fit. Mind you, the family the person that died, they think I did it. So, you know, now like, they say, oh, he got tattoo teardrops. Look at his record. Look at the stuff he did in the past. And I'm like 100% innocent. I'm like devastated about this thing. Like, God, why are you doing this to me, right? Whole time it was the guy, Jimmy Desaint, because he got caught with some coke in his house. And I used to hustle for him. And he just threw me under the bus and just, that I would never find out because he didn't have to come to court or do nothing. But the guy who said that was on the stand on me, who got shot, that survived, I kept reaching out to him to talk to him, to ask him why. One day he talked back to me. And he told me the story about his neighbor, you know, did that, and told me, he said I did it. And I'm like, it was Jimmy Desaint, right? And I was like devastated. Mind you, I ain't found out for like 20 years. I just found this out about 3 or 4 years ago, right? Devastated. So mind you, I get out for that murder. What they say happened on that murder was they said the guy tapped the back of my car. I got out and shot him up. First of all, I didn't even have a car in 98. So, but that was whatever. Now, fast forward to 2002. Got out of jail for the murder 2001, something like that. 2002, we had a concert, right? Remember those PT Cruiser cars was out? I had rented one to drive in North Carolina. Little ugly little cars, like a Prowler or something with Quanny John. So when I leave out the show, somebody's unalive underneath Bean's Bentley, just laying there. The cops got it taped off, so nobody can move. So I'm in the parking space, and somebody behind me in a white Cherokee. They just crashed. I'm talking to some girl. They just crashed into the back of my car. I'm like, oh. Get out of the car. I'm like, yo, bro, we parked. How you crashing? But I was in the little rental car, so I didn't really care. I'm like, you broke the light. He gave me $60 for the light. Shook his hand. Delaney Foxworth was his name. He shook his hand, get back in the car, and the fan bit. Don't you know this guy went to the cops and said I robbed him? And told me if I don't give him $10,000, he gonna say I robbed him. And me being young, said I ain't giving you nothing, bro. Said I robbed him. I had to go to jail, turn myself in, fighting it. So I'm fighting. I'm like, I'm gonna beat it because at the end of the day, the cops is right there. Nobody could rob nobody. The cops is right there. Boy was underneath the car, unalive. Some thousands of people out here because the show was popping. It was a state property show. I'm talking about this movie said popping, right? So I'm thinking, there's no way I can lose this case. I go to court. The guy, as soon as you get, you know how they say, well, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? He's like, Oschino robbed me. They said, we didn't even ask you that yet. I said, oh, this boy tripping. Don't you know? So we're going to court. He started feeling bad about it, I guess. Like, oh, I'm doing this. So we come to court, and then, like, at the year we're going to court, like, yo, I'm going to go up there and tell him you ain't do it, man. I'm sorry for doing this to you, whatever. I'm like, man, I don't care what you do at this point. Like, he go in this joint, he say, get on the stand and say, Your Honor, he didn't rob me. The judge like, oh, what you mean he ain't rob you? 2 detectives from the homicide case I had 2 years prior jumped up. Mind you, they don't have nothing to do with this trial, nothing. They said, Your Honor, it's the same thing happened in the murder case. The guy said he did it. Then he's recanted. Either he's paying these people off or he's threatening them. The judge said, oh, yeah, I find you guilty. Immediate custody, revoke his bail. And be convicted felon for the rest of my life, right? I'm talking about that's how crazy my life is. I'm like, yo, I'm talking about, I'm in shock. Like, what the, how they gonna, why would I rob you for $60 and I just got paid $5,000? Why would I? So I told my lawyer, I said, ask him this question. When I robbed you, did you give me how much you wanted to give me, or did I go in your pockets? So my lawyer was like, well, how much money did you have on you when he robbed you? The guy was like, I had like about 500, whatever he said. Well, how much you gave my client? $60. What kind of robbery is that, right? So in my head, I'm like, I can't possibly lose this. The detectives for my murder case that I was innocent on, instead of looking at it, we locked this guy up, wrongfully locked him up for the murder. They still want me to be locked up because they feel like I got away with something. Came in to make sure I got convicted on armed robbery. Now I'm in jail again. And the consensus is, oh, he always doing something to get locked up. And that's what makes you even mad. Like, y'all judging me. Y'all don't even know the circumstances of how it is when you're a target, when you start getting money or whatever in the hood. So Delaney Foxworth, right? So now I'm in jail. So I'm in jail for armed robbery, found guilty, whatever. So Dame like, listen, before you get sentenced, I got a lawyer you should check out named Dennis Colgan. He costs a lot, but like, you know what I mean? He the best out there. Him and Tony Patron or whatever. I'm like, man, Dame, I'm so devastated because I know it's a mandatory 5 to 10. That's the least you can get for that case I got found guilty of. So in my mind, like, I'm gonna do life because when I get out, I'm gonna unalive him, right? So the boy Dennis Colgan came to visit me. He said, listen, if you give me $35,000, I'll make sure you don't go to state prison and you will be home sooner than you think. I said, I'm already found guilty, bro. What I'm gonna give you $35,000 for? He said, listen, my wife is a federal judge. I mean, I don't even take cases like this. I'm only taking this on the strength of Tony Patron and boo boo. So, you know, at that time, you could take money out your budget, your rap budget. So I took $35,000 out, gave it to him. I said, so he came to me, like, mind you, like a month later, like, listen, if you plead guilty, even though you already found guilty, now go in there, plead guilty, and apologize for robbing them, you can get out immediate work release. I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not saying I apologize for something I ain't do. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come back in 2 months and ask you again. Before you go upstate. I said, I'm gonna be upstate by then. He said, no, you won't. I just trust me. I was talking to my shorty, and she's like, whoa, they stay probably popping right now. You'll be going to jail for it. You might appeal it, but it's gonna take some years. Just go in there and say you're sorry for doing it so you can get out. It was so hard. I'm like, no, like, that's the thing about it, man. I gotta get out. I gotta get to this money. I gotta, like, don't you know, I went in there and apologized, saying I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking that day. And the hardest thing I ever had to do, but as soon as I finished, I was out. So I said, damn, $35,000. I don't know if he paid the judge off or whatever, but Anthony DeFino was the judge's name, right? So now I'm in the work release, right? Anyway, but I'm innocent. Out of all this stuff, I've been in jail back and forth. I'm innocent. And everybody looking at me like, all this boy do is get in trouble. All this boy do is this and that. And I'm like, if they only knew. If they only knew, like, I mean, so one day I see the guy, Delaney Foxworth. I see him, right? He run out the joint all crazy, get the cops, like, got a restraining order against me. I don't even know this dude at all. Like, I'm like, man, I mean, this life, I can't even make this stuff up, right? I mean, so let me tell you the crazy kicker. Now, the judge's name was Anthony DeFino, right? I used to always dream about him, something happening to him and something bad happening to him. And so 2015, I'm about to get out of prison for marijuana. Ben's doing, I got this record that's crazy. They gave me 3 years for marijuana, a little bit of marijuana, 3 years, state prison. I'm about to get out. I get the newspaper. Watch the picture of Anthony DeFino in there in a house fire. He got unalived. His wife got out, but he didn't. So I said, no matter what, they might do something to me, but God gave him hell on earth. You can look it up. Anthony DeFino, judge, house fire, pops right up. I mean, he locked me up for something. He didn't care if I was innocent or not. He just wanted to show his power and put his feelings and emotion involved. Took me from my family, and then God took him from his family. And I mean, that sounds cruel and wrong, but that's God did it. It wasn't me. I mean, so sometimes you got to be careful. You think you got all the power in the world, and sometimes you don't.